Ever since I picked up the Canon EOS M6, this has been one of my workhorses that has done a lot. I've been to Las Vegas with it, I've vlogged with it, took it to, a lot of different places, and it holds up image quality wise and for what it can do, especially in regards to video and blogging and etc. But now the wrench in the machine, and Canon likes to make things confusing, is which do I buy? Do I buy the Canon EOS M6 or M5 for that rather? I'm going to talk about the M6. Or do I buy the new Canon M50? That's their first 4K mirrorless camera. And it really is a hard debate for a lot of people out there who especially haven't owned one of those, or maybe thinking about upgrading or moving to the M50, is that the prices are almost the same as well. For the M6 right now, you're looking at about $800 with the kit lens, the 15-45, but with the M50, you're looking at about $900 with that same kit lens. You look at a lot of things, they both have like dual pixel and, almost similar amount of megapixels, but really what's different and why would you want one or the other? In the pin post below, I'm gonna link my review on the Canon M6 so you can hear it more in depth. I just really want to talk about it, but this M6 has been one of my favorite pieces of gear because of what it does, what I like for it to do. One, for vlogging, for doing stuff, and even making some of these videos, it holds up. Crop sensor, flip screen, mic input. I don't care about the EVF on this thing right here. And the image quality that it produces is absolutely stunning. Once again, going back with the dual pixel autofocus as well for under $1,000. It's just hard to kind of pass up if you're looking for a lot of those things. But this M50 kind of follows with similar stuff. And then it adds on a few more things. So with this new M50, you're getting a newer Digic 8 imaging processor. So it's going to be a little bit faster. It should track a little bit better. It will have dual pixel autofocusing, which I know a lot of people will like. It has a flip out screen instead of a flip up screen, which is more of the Rebel looking line, and some of their G5 or G9, I think that's the line that they're point and shoot. So it looks like that. It has an EVF. So you don't have to pay for an extra one like you will with the M6. It's more in line with the M5 in regards to that. It'll have the dual pixel autofocusing like the M6. You will get 1080p at 60 frames per second. And for some reason, this should be eliminated from all cameras at this point. You were getting 720p at 120 frames per second. So you're really not getting, you're getting it HD, but not really full HD. It's kind of a joke in that regards. But you are getting the first 4K at 24 frames per second. But once again, this is where Canon just makes you puzzle and go, what are you doing? So with the M50 F4K, you are getting a crop into it as well. So you're already on a crop sensor. You will then crop into it, which has become a little bit more common between some of the cameras. But you also lose the dual pixel autofocusing, which is one of the main reasons a lot of people like to buy the camera. Now the face detection does do okay. It'll track it, but it's not fully accurate. And once again, I was testing it around the event and everything like that, and it just wasn't coming out as accurately as if you were 1080p, which I mean pretty much follows like dual pixel does for any camera. So it has 4K, but yeah. Now, another reason a lot of people like to use some of these cameras compared to like the Sony RX100 Mark IV, Mark V is that it has an actual mic input. And the M6 has one as well, but once again, you run the issue into not being able to either use your monitor, because if you mount it to the hot shoe or the cold shoe, the mic could block the screen and you're not really getting full use of it. So then I use my adapter trick, which I'll link down below. And then people are Velcroing and taping their stuff so that way a Rode mic can be used, etc. The M50 alleviates that because you do have the EVF, and on top you have your cold/hot shoe, which you can run the mic on and it won't impede the screen because the screen flips out. So in that case, the M50 is really cool to have. But is that a big deviation going from the M6 to the M50? If audio is an issue and you want something better than possibly what I showed with that one little mic, then that might be a selling point for you. So all in all, with a new processor, basically the same 1080p, you get an extra frames per second, a little bit faster imaging processor. The M6 is a little bit heavier, which I like because I think it could take a little bit more of a beating. Not the kit lens, those are very, very plasticky. But the M50 is lighter, but it does feel a little bit more cheaply made, and it doesn't feel as much of a workhorse. Like if I were to drop that or bang it against something, I'd worry if it was damaged as well. So the build quality doesn't seem there. But once again, you're sacrificing that so it's actually a little bit lighter in your hands, all depending on what you want to do with it. So which would you buy? Would I move on to the M50? And currently being an M6 user, I feel that there is zero need to move over to the M50. If you definitely need 4K video, even though you're getting crippled by what Canon is doing with it, then the M50 is your option. There's no, no doubt about that. The M5, the M6 only does 1080p video. The 5-axis image stabilization is electronic. It's really not good at all. I wouldn't use it in either camera. They're essentially the same in that regard. But if you're looking for more of a workhorse, something more reliable, I prefer the M6. But if you want something just even a little bit more lighter, something that you like the screen maybe flips outwards instead of upwards, then check out the M50. Personally, as an M6 user, I'm not going to move over to the M50. I see no need for myself. The only way I really see things is if I want to get a better mic, and that would be the way to do it. Other than that, everything else is essentially the same. It might be a touch faster, but not much. What's an extra frames per second? The imaging processor is pretty close enough, but we will see what this brings more for Canon in the future. So tell me down below, if you're an M6 user, do you want to go to the M50? Or if you are thinking about buying an M50, what makes you not want to look into an M6 or something like that? Regardless of the way you go with either of these cameras, if you're seriously debating them, they are both going to do exactly what you need and get the job done and give you superb image quality and video quality to go with it. Just little quirks here and there to see which one checks the check boxes that you think you're going to want. So let me know down below, which are you interested in? Is the M50 very exciting to you? Just let me know.